This is your before and after story. Instead of imagining a rewarding career in medical imaging, Southeastern College can actually take you there. Prepare for a career in ultrasound, radiology, and X-ray technology with hands-on specialized training, simulations, and real-life experience with the latest imaging technology. You'll be ready to play a vital role on any healthcare team. Transform your life by helping others. Southeastern College. Your future is bright. Visit scc.edu to get started.
You're listening to Later with Mo Kelly on demand from KFI AM 640.
KFI, Mr. Mo Kelly. We're live everywhere in the iHeartRadio app. You can always check me out on Instagram at Mr. Mo Kelly and at Later with Mo Kelly. And also, you can always give me a message. I always respond. If at all possible, you can drop a message at Mr. Mo Kelly on Threads or on Instagram. We can keep the conversation going there.
Look at you using Threads. Sorry to interrupt you, but that's impressive.
No, I've been using Threads for a while. It's not as good as what
Correct.
Twitter used to be as far as trending topics, ease of just moving around,
Sure.
ease of tagging and hashtagging.
That I agree with.
It's
100%.
not that, but it's functional and it has some features that I really love when dealing with trolls. The hide for
Yes.
everyone feature is fantastic.
You're right.
I mean, 'cause you can say something stupid on a thread to me and I'll just hide for everyone. No one will see it. Then I can mute and block your ass into oblivion. It makes me feel so much better.
And I think
love
it's,
it.
and if you're not familiar, Meta is offering Threads as that alternate to,
Yes. Yes.
it's a companion to Instagram, but it's an alternate to X.
I encounter less foolishness.
Right.
That's the only way I can describe it.
No, that makes perfect
on
sense.
Threads. Twitter was sorry. It's just this, and I'm not calling it X. F out of here.
No, I get that.
It's a cesspool, and it's just a bunch of nameless, faceless a-holes who want to say anything and everything, and I can't respond in kind. Oh, I would love to.
Sure.
But I can't, so no, I'm not going to subject myself
Not to
that.
go too far off the rails, but do you do Mastodon or Blue Sky or any of the other alternate ones or no?
I post occasionally on
Okay.
Blue Sky.
Same.
Mastodon hasn't had any real appeal to me. I'll also have accounts
Sure.
on Truth Social, Spill, and a couple of others.
I was going to say Spill is something that even I have an account for Spill, and I don't think anybody really knows.
I can't figure out Spill. It's
Sure.
too damn hard.
Right. No, and I think that's the hardest. We're so thoroughly saturated right now with everything, and I think this is a great way to jump into what's up with Nick, because me trying to keep up with everything. We started this in 2023 when it became Later with Mo Kelly, and it was This Weekend with Nick on Fridays. And now trying to figure out every algorithm that's out there, every change that's happened. I'm going to get into where I was earlier today with Amy King from Wake Up Call and Bill Handel show here on KFI. And just trying to balance out, all right, I got to cut this for this platform and I got to cut this for this platform. It's wild because you're trying to do your best to inform people, but then it's this game that all these major corporations have jumped into playing. And then you have Mastodon and Blue Sky, if you're not familiar with those, that are not overseen by a major corporation. Those are more on the freemium space. And it's really great. But trying to navigate it, just like you said, in using Threads as an example from something we're all familiar with Facebook for Meta, we're all familiar with Instagram for Meta, and then you've got Threads. So again, there's those handful of great options available, but it's also trying to figure it all out.
It's the learning curve. It's finding your village and people in the
correct.
sense of people that you're going to interact with. And it takes a long time because let's say you had your group of people that you would interact with on Twitter.
Yeah.
Then you got to start all the way over on a new social media app, and it doesn't have the same bells and whistles.
Right.
The settings are not set up the same way. It takes a long time.
And this discovery, just the organic, natural discovery of it, that's challenging as it is. So, well, thanks for going off topic with me.
Okay. We're back.
Let's talk about superheroes and supervillains, which this kind of works with. I want to talk about it, and we'll probably take it after the break as well, but there is an incredible auction that is happening at the Peterson Automotive Museum in Mid-Wilshire.
Oh, I like the Peterson.
Okay. Did you go when it was originally the small installation that was over in, I could be completely wrong with this. I should have done a little bit or better research, which is unlike me, but when it was over by UCLA, there was a smaller Peterson before the big, huge build out with the freestanding building across from the Academy Museum.
You talking about on Fairfax and Wilshire-ish?
Right.
Yeah.
But it was the small little guy, right?
I might have. Was it real close to Santa Monica?
Kind of, yes.
Okay, I think might have.
So now I haven't been to the Peterson. So first of all, I'm going to say just What's Up with Nick, or This Weekend with Nick. Checking out the Peterson Automotive Museum itself is well worth your time. Parking on site there. If you're interested in the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences, their museum is directly across the way. Everything in the Mid-Wilshire and Miracle Mile corridor is right there within walking distance. Great food. LACMA's down the street. All of that. But this is something that is very special and very different from Prop Store, propstore.com. And you can check out the link in bio at Nick Pagliochini and This Weekend with Nick on Instagram is the easiest way to get the details. But they have a multi-million-dollar auction that goes live tomorrow. And when I say multi-million-dollar, like one of the items we saw today was Luke Skywalker, Mark Hamill's screen and photo match Medal of Yavin. Is that correct? Because you're my
Yavin.
Yavin. It is Yavin.
Yes.
Okay.
Star Wars.
So from New Hope, from 77. Mm-hmm. That is expected to go for between $300,000 and $600,000.
No way.
And we pretty much got to go. We got a special preview. That's the truth. But
not free 99, huh?
No. I've got all the details for you tonight. So you definitely want to check out the link because Amy King will have an interview in the morning on Wake Up Call with the COO of Prop Store. So you'll be able to get more details and more of insight and fun and excitement. But I want you to go to this because tomorrow is the one day you get to go in person and see everything that I got to see today. And it is at the Penthouse, at the Peterson Automotive Museum, propstore.com, propstoreauction.com. That'll get you the details about it. But I'm not kidding. Go check out the reel that I just posted. You can also see it's shared with Later with Mo Kelly on Instagram. That will have all the different things you can see. We saw things from Elf. So I'm trying to remember the specific engine that Santa uses in Elf. Something 3000.
Plasmometer 3000?
Is that what it is?
I think that's something like that.
Nice pull.
Or is it an Elf something? Anyway.
I can't remember.
Elf shoes. We saw Buddy's card that he gave to James Caan to his dad's character in it. You can buy that. There is a screen worn from Superman 3, Evil Superman. So Christopher Reeves, when he has in Superman 3 in 83, has that changeover. That's available for you there. $200,000 to $400,000. And to be able to be arm's length away from anything like that is just wild to me because we have Hollywood in our backyard and we've had it in our backyard, both the small screen and the silver screen for so long. We really take it for granted because we enjoy all the content, but we don't really go out and see it. And sometimes you got to be a tourist in your own neighborhood, if that makes sense.
Absolutely.
Because, while I may not want to hop on a bus and take a tour of Hollywood to go see celebrities' homes, because Lord knows, we both know celebrities personally and know where they live, and they're not on those tours.
Right.
So there's a reason for that. But
a really good reason
for that. But it's just wild. Like we saw Danny Zuko's jacket from Grease Lightning, from Grease the movie. So, but from specifically the one, because he had a super shiny one and then he had a little bit more matte that went better with the cameras. And what's really cool is every single one of these items you can also see online. I really want you to go and I want you to check it out in person. But you can see them online, again, propstore.com or propstoreauction.com. Everything goes live tomorrow morning at 10:30 a.m. It's 3 days of entertainment memorabilia, live auction happening each day. Tomorrow is the only day you get to go and see it physically in person, whether you're bidding on it or not. Obviously, Prop Store would love for you to bid on it. I wish I had the kind of coin to drop on this. They had this sick model of Voyager from Star Trek, one of the ones that was used in the filming of it. Absolutely incredible. Also, they had stuff from Back to the Future.
I'm looking at the links right now.
It's wild, right?
Incredible.
Absolutely incredible.
Propstore.com.
Correct. And the biggest thing is, as funny as it sounds, we're starting out with the free 99 side of things instead of the other way. To go is free 99. You have to pay for parking or you have to find parking somewhere near around there. So you pay for whatever the parking is at the Peterson. But yes, thank you, Stefoosh. It's going to be free 99 for you to be able to check out these things. So again, if you want to learn more, I highly encourage it. It opens at 10:30 a.m. tomorrow. They will be doing a live auction in person. You can also attend it online. So that's why I say Nick Pagliochini this week. Go with Nick. The link in bio will take you to where you need to go. But get down there. If you got nothing to do, it's well worth it. You can check it all out Thursday and Friday as well from the comfort of your own home.
Go to propstore.com right now.
Right? Because
I'm looking at this like,
I wish,
wow.
Because I'm just trying to think, like, you've got Catwoman, so Michelle Pfeiffer's costume for Batman Returns, which is incredible, but also had definitely seen better days. But you have to think that was from 92. So, we've all weathered a little bit from 92 now. Not just the costumes, but that was amazing. Amy King's always excited about Top Gun. So Tom Cruise, Mavericks, 1986 photo match bomber jacket is available for you to buy, 50 to 100K.
See, I'm just looking at, like, they have Orlando Bloom's photo ID pass from Black Hawk Down.
How
little
wild
stuff
is that,
like
though,
that.
right?
Yeah, it's random, but specific at the same time.
Yeah, for sure. So it's well worth it. It's a lot of fun. I had a blast doing it. I had a great time tearing through it, as Mo is doing right now, propstore.com or propstoreauction.com. You can get the links in bio at Nick Pagliochini, This Week I'm with Nick, or Later with Mo Kelly on Instagram. And you can also check out a reel that I shot of just kind of running through just a handful of the exhibits. They weren't even fully set up for guests to come in. They have a special event tonight going on. I'm sad I'm not there, but I'd much rather be here, always with you guys. But yeah, it's definitely something to check out. And you've got that, but I've got more to talk about.
We'll do it on the other side.
On the other side.
Nick Pagliochini joins me in studios later with Mo Kelly. We're finding out what's up with Nick and more. KFI AM 640 live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app.
You're listening to Later with Mo Kelly on demand from KFI AM 640.
Nick Pagliochini. What's up with Nick is on to tell us all what he do. Nick Pagliochini. What's up with Nick is on with free 99 for you. Nick Pagliochini. What's up with Nick is on to give us fun things to do around SoCal. What's up with Nick is on with Mo Kelly and his crew.
KFI AM 640. It's Later with Mo Kelly, live everywhere in the iHeartRadio app. Nick Pagliochini continues to join me in studio. Nick, what is up?
Well, I want to talk about something that's coming up this weekend. And granted, I always want you to, when you're going to these events, be sure to tune in to Later with Mo Kelly Monday through Friday from 7 to 10, especially for cult classic movies on Friday at 9 o'clock. But this Friday is Night Dive over in my neck of the woods at the Aquarium of the Pacific in Long Beach. And this is an 18 and over event that takes over the entire aquarium, music, art, and culture. Their spring program is this Friday. They pretty much have one going March, June, July, August. So it looks like this is just the only spring offering that's going to be available, but they will have a live band there, several DJs, music, cocktails, dancing, food, you name it. So if you've not been to the Aquarium of the Pacific, it's a fantastic opportunity for you to go and enjoy whatever you want to call it. A day with the fishes, which sounds very, are you going to be sleeping with the fishes?
It sounds very mob-like.
Right, exactly. But this is one of those events that they take the footprint of something that's existing and completely change it up, which is always a good time. I have been a member at the aquarium for many, many years, but it's so funny because there's people who are members of things that are in their backyard, but not the direct backyard. So I have been a member of the Aquarium of the Pacific long before I lived in Long Beach, just because it was so cool to have something in the city that was close to where I grew up for the most part with my grandparents. And so to have that, it's well worth checking out during the day, and being a member is always a great opportunity. But if you're a non-member, it's still not too bad, because if you figure members for this event, $40 or $39.95. For non-members, it's $45. So you save $5 by being a member of the aquarium. But this is a great date night opportunity if you want to go, or if you want to go meet some singles. It's not a bad thing either, or just take a group of friends. But I love it because it's a venue that is predominantly, if you go during the day, you're going to see a bunch of schools that are there and a bunch of kids that are there. And this is an opportunity for you to kind of be a nerd and geek out about things like we talked about last week, the Grunion Run. They will definitely be touching on that. There's no Grunion running at the aquarium itself specifically, but it's something else for you to check out. And the thing that starts this weekend and runs all the way through April is something that I absolutely love and is genuinely an institution in Southern California. We all know that I'm a huge fanboy of Disney and being a Disney adult, but Knott's Berry Farm over in Buena Park, not that far away from Disneyland, they're kicking off their Boysenberry Festival. And I will tell you, the one thing that I was incredibly impressed with Knott's, especially during the pandemic, is they figured out how to open the park and get socially distanced time, because it's a park. So everyone's outdoors. And so it was a great opportunity, and they really have gotten their food festivals dialed in. Don't get it twisted. I absolutely love the Food and Wine Festival that's underway right now at Disney California Adventure. In fact, I'll be talking about that more next week. But Knott's Berry Farm, the Boysenberry Festival, opens this weekend on the 28th, runs through April 27th. If you have a season pass like I do, it's a great opportunity to get over there. Knott's Berry Farm season passes, which is also now inclusive, depending on what you buy, of Six Flags Magic Mountain because of the same company. They are all part of the Cedar Fair family, and they really are reasonable. And when I say that, there are other theme parks that I've spoken of, that are very, very much a financial investment, if you will, to become a annual pass holder.
Just say it's effing expensive.
It's effing expensive. While it provides an incredible, well worth it thing, Knott's Berry Farm is just such a different vibe, period. Whether you're there day or night. I love that they have Camp Snoopy, which is available for kids, and they have revamped it, so that has reopened with all the new attractions that are available for you there. But the Boysenberry Festival, everything that is Boysenberry is there, and that really is what put Knott's Berry Farm on the map originally, when it was just a berry farm off of Route 66.
Do they still sell it in stores, grocery stores?
They don't. So the thing is you're able to, because Smucker's bought the Knott's brand a good number of years ago. The only place in the entire world that you can purchase Knott's Berry Farm branded jams and jellies is physically on site, or I think it's knottsmarketplace.com. But those are the only two places that you're able to find any of this. And what's even cooler is with the Boysenberry Festival, obviously, every single food item, every cocktail, every mocktail, even wines and beers, all have boysenberry in some way, shape, or form involved with them. So it's not great on your waistline, but it is great for a good time. And it's a great opportunity because you're going to definitely...
try to ride?
I tried. I didn't completely crash and burn.
Okay.
It went well enough. But no, I just think Knott's Berry Farm is that unsung hero, especially now because the weather is beautiful. It's not too warm yet. And you're able to do something that is not going to break the bank and get out there and enjoy a solo trip, a couple's trip, a family trip, you name it, or become an annual pass holder with them and get a season pass because they're really, really reasonable. You do need to be aware that they do still have chaperone policies. So kids under 18, during certain times of the year, you'll be able to check in with Knott's Berry Farm and they'll be able to give that to you. But the Boysenberry Festival, and I am reached out to my friends at Knott's, and hopefully when I'm back in next week, even if I don't talk about it all that much, I will definitely be bringing you some Boysenberry treats.
I appreciate that. Mark never brings me anything.
I know. Well, the worst part is I was trying to figure out how we're going to put cookies and cream in boysenberry. I don't know if that's going to roll.
I don't know if that's going to work.
But something to that effect. Yeah, I'll figure it out.
When he comes here, he usually brings me something. I don't get jack from these jokers.
I was going to say, I love that you all are getting thrown under the bus, like just without a question. And neither Stefan or Mark is, either they're busy, allegedly.
No, they know it's true.
Right. But I'm looking at them right now on the cameras.
Mark's saying, like, should I respond? What,
right.
Is there anything I can use to contradict what he's saying?
Right. No, it's just that you wouldn't want anything that I would bring, like a black olive dish.
See, that's
what kind of dish are you going to bring with black olives? Because you got to take us there. First of all, I love how you take us there, which makes perfect sense.
You open the door. Let's walk through.
Well, I'd find one. I mean, I could come up with one.
With a black olive dish?
Oh, there must be all sorts of delicious black olive dishes that Mo would love.
Okay.
See, that's why I prefer Nick Pagliochini to you.
Because I know
that
balance.
Right there. It's Later with Mo Kelly. It's always good seeing you.
A pleasure as always. Be sure to check me out on Instagram is the easiest. Nick Pagliochini, and This Weekend with Nick. Also, a lot of times you can catch some of my content on Later with Mo Kelly, also on Instagram.
You're listening to Later with Mo Kelly on demand from KFI AM 640.
Will Smith is getting himself back out there in the wake of the controversy. It's been 3 years now. Imagine that, 3 years since that unfortunate Oscar slap, and I have always been consistent in my condemnation of it. If you put hands on someone, that's assault and battery. It should have been treated as a crime. Yes, Chris Rock declined to press charges, but sometimes, and you see this in domestic violence cases all the time, you don't even need to have a willing victim for charges to be filed, especially when it happens in front of the whole world. There, for me, was never any justification for Will Smith to walk down and put hands on Chris Rock. I don't believe, accept, or agree that Chris Rock somehow insulted Jada Pinkett Smith so flagrantly and egregiously that his only option was to put hands on Chris Rock. Sorry. And I commend Chris Rock for not physically escalating that moment, knowing the whole world is watching. I review that because you may not remember, part of the punishment, air quotes, for Will Smith was a 10-year ban, and I think it's more apt to call it a suspension because a ban is permanent. Suspension is more like a postponement of his participation in any Oscar-related activity. To which he was asked specifically about the Oscar suspension now that he's doing more media in support of this new album and tour. And this is what Will Smith had to say about it.
With the ban and everything, are you looking to appeal, or are you just looking just to ride everything out and just continue to do you?
I am looking to be the best human I can possibly be, and I'm going to take what I get with that.
Huh?
What does that even mean? If you could see both of our faces, what does that even mean?
The best human I could, I think all of us,
right,
on a daily basis, wake up and not explicitly, but implicitly think, let me see if I can have the best day possible. Just be the best person I can be the best version of myself. But Will Smith, in response to a question about the Oscar ban / suspension,
right,
wanted to dither and deflect and talk about how he's just trying to be the best person he can be. No. That's going forward. He was asking about the past as far as that incident, how you look upon it, how you're going to navigate it for the next, 6 years or so, that it's going to be in effect. It's a relevant question. It's a question which is going to be repeatedly asked of him. And let me give you some behind the scenes. I would bet dollars to donuts. Anyone who has been granted the opportunity to interview Will Smith, and I know Mark Rodder knows about this, there probably will be a list of topics and questions which will be verboten, which will not be allowed to ask, which will be told that you can't bring up, or they're not going to agree to the interview. And if you go against that, Will Smith probably will walk out.
Yeah, a real journalist doesn't agree to stuff like that. Hacks will, people who have no journalistic integrity and just want to be climbers. But I would never agree to limitations on an interview.
The only limitations that I agree to are the personal questions. In other words, whenever I interview someone, I'm not going to ask about their personal life unless the personal life is the whole peg of the interview. In this situation, the peg is, or in other words, the reason for the interview would be the tour, his new music, and so forth. I'm not going to ask, so do you and Jada have an open relationship? I would never do that. But I would be employing journalistic malpractice if I did not ask him about Chris Rock.
Yeah, you also have to have some kind of internal compass. I mean, if you want to see examples of people who have done it wrong, look at the awkward interviews with Robert Downey Jr., where they completely inappropriately decide they want to ask him about his ancient history of troubles with drugs and the law. And he kind of tolerates it up to a point, and then he ends the interview, rightfully so.
Right.
But with Will Smith, no. He hasn't even made amends for his Wild Wild West movie. He gets to get asked about this. He owes you an
apology?
Well, he owes the world an apology, and he gets to get asked about that slap in perpetuity. I mean, that was in front of 1 billion people.
And although he may have apologized, quote unquote, on social media, there's still a conversation to be had in the wake of it as far as what was going through his mind, have the follow up to that answer. And also, I need an explanation as to what has changed since then.
There's been nothing like that, especially not in Oscar history. I mean, there are stories about when Sacheen Littlefeather rejected the Oscar for Brando, that people had to hold John Wayne back, but you didn't see any footage of that.
We all saw this. And although I'm quite sure Will Smith would like to move past it, I've never interviewed him. I've met him in passing when he and Jada had just gotten together. I don't even think they were even married yet. I mean, this is decades ago, so I don't know anything about him personally. I doubt I will ever have the opportunity to actually interview him because, to what Mark was saying, I'm not going to agree to the stipulations which inevitably they would want to place on the interview. And I get it. His people have one job, and that is to protect Will Smith. That's why you have a publicist. That's why you have a crisis publicist. That's why you have a manager. You want to limit those things which may blow up in his or her face, depending on the person that you're paid to protect, and not generate bad publicity. I get it. I don't sandbag any of my interviewees. I don't do gotcha questions. But I have to ask Will Smith, if he's sitting in front of me, certain questions about that night. We can also talk about the album. We can also talk about the tour. But I'm damn sure not going to talk about the latter and disregard the former.
Yeah, his publicist can ask anything they want, but they'd better not mistake me for one of the publicists if I'm doing the interview.
Oftentimes, especially if I'm interviewing high-level either entertainment guests or political guests, they will ask for the questions in advance.
No way.
Explicitly. No, I'm saying they will ask. It's like, hey, can we get the questions in advance?
Right.
Hell's effing no. And I can tell you about some of the subjects we're going to cover. I'd be more than happy.
Yeah, that's an instant non-starter. No legit person would submit to that. But you also have to understand that as much as we don't like to admit it, there are different standards for newspaper, radio, TV, and the kind of thing like these all-day junket interviews where you get like 3 minutes and then it's the next in line.
Yeah.
They're all a little different, and you must decide if you're the journalist or if you want to call yourself a journalist, what you're willing to do, what you're willing to put up with. I never put up with any of that stuff because I can live without the interview. And if it's too, if they think that they're going to control the questions I ask.
And not only that, that's part of the reason why I don't do junket interviews anymore. I'm not sitting around a table, and it's a literal table where you have 6 different journalists, and there's about 10 minutes, and you get maybe 1 question, 2 at the max. And that's not an interview, because that means your 1 question has to be about the project, the thing that they're promoting. That's not a real dialogue. And if I were to have a conversation with Will Smith, it would be a very genuine, sincere, respectful conversation about the biggest moment in Oscar history. If I didn't ask that question, I don't deserve to sit behind this microphone.
Oh, God, no. You don't avoid the elephant in the room just because it's going to make somebody uncomfortable. You're not under their employ.
And there is a dance that you have to do. And what I do is I have to develop a rapport with a person almost immediately. Sometimes I have a chance to talk to that person before the interview so they get a feeling for me. I get a feeling for him or her, and maybe they become a little bit more comfortable and more inclined to share more. That's my job. If I'm doing my job very well, I can get someone to open up, tell some stories, some anecdotes, and they'll almost like forget that they're in an interview. If I'm doing my job very well, that's the hardest part because I have to develop that rapport immediately. But I have, quote unquote, an agenda. My agenda is to get the most out of that person as possible.
If you act like a crazy, violent person in front of the entire world, you have no right whatsoever to request that be off limits in future interviews. None.
Oh, I just remembered. Mark, I didn't even tell this to you or to Waller. Remember when we had Randy Economy on and we are talking about the recall effort, the latest one against Gavin Newsom?
I do.
He is also very closely connected to Mel Gibson.
Oh.
Okay. And I was talking to Randy. I said, hey, I would love to have Mel Gibson on, but I damn sure am not going to have Mel Gibson on and not talk about the totality of how we got to this moment where he is obviously becoming more and more of a political figure. He is still making movies, but people do still have some reservations and misgivings about where he is now. We have to have that conversation on some level. And the reason why we haven't had that conversation yet, we haven't come to any sort of understanding. Now, Randy may have forgotten or Randy didn't follow up, but Randy knows me well enough to know that I have real conversations with people. I'd love to have a conversation with Mel Gibson, but it's not only going to be to promote his political interests. I'm not.
Nobody gets a free pass, but it could still be a fair interview.
I would like to think that's what I specialize in.
I see.
It's Later with Mo Kelly. Not everyone wants to answer real questions. We're live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app.
You're listening to Later with Mo Kelly on demand from KFI AM 640.
And before we get out of here, yes, I have my final thought for the evening, and it's still the biggest story in the world, so I'm not going to run away from it. Of course, I'm talking about signal leak. We're learning more and more as time goes on. We're learning who was on the text thread, more about the information which was shared in that chat, and the spin which is being used to defend it or minimize it. It is the biggest story in the world. And of course, a bunch of comparisons are being made to Hillary Clinton, but, for political purposes mostly. Insincere comparisons. Some would have you believe that Clinton's use of a personal server was worse, and those same people claim hypocrisy. Others will argue that the signal leak is worse, and they'll yell hypocrisy. And there's even a third group, which will pose the hypothetical of, just imagine if Lloyd Austin or some other SecDef did the same thing, what would happen? All pretty predictable stuff. But this ain't hard. This is rather easy. You know how I say get the easy ones right. This is so simple, people make it hard, needlessly so. Here's the solution. Just treat them all the same. I'm not talking about the spin, the media coverage, or measurement of the outrage. Just treat the actual individuals, the players involved, the same. That's the only supposed hypocrisy anyone should worry about. Not what Fox hosts say or who they defend. Not what MSNBC hosts say or who they condemn. Just treat the actual individuals, the players involved, the same. The actual hypocrisy is in not treating them and investigating all of them the same. I hope that's not some sort of controversial statement. If you thought Hillary Clinton should have been locked up, that means at the minimum you thought she should have been investigated. She was investigated. She gave a statement to the FBI. She was brought before Congress and testified for 11 hours. A full report was released by a Republican-led committee, which also found no wrongdoing on her part. Yes, that's what it found. You can Google it for yourself. But the same should be done here. Treat them all the same. Investigation, congressional hearings, and let the chips fall where they may. It doesn't mean you'll like the outcome or even agree with it. But it shouldn't be about taking anyone's word, like Congressman Dan Crenshaw said he would take Pete Hegseth at his word. No, not when it comes to national security issues. But Mo, you're just a Democrat. No, I'm not. But Mo, you're just a flaming liberal. No, I'm not. I'll have you know that I was the first person here on KFI who said that I believe Hillary Clinton should have been charged given what we knew and the negligence alleged relative to the statute. I got the audio to prove it. I was the first. I was on the air in for Gary and Shannon when former FBI Director James Comey made his public declination of charging Clinton. But I'm all about consistency. Treat them all the same. If there is a flagrant departure from protocol when it comes to handling sensitive or, dare I say, classified information, then treat them all the same. I don't care if it's boxes in your gold-plated bathroom at your resort or in your garage at your home in Delaware. Investigate accordingly. Let the chips fall where they may. But see, that's why we have, that's why we had inspectors general. That's the exact purpose for them. Here's how I know. Remember when former SecDef Lloyd Austin disappeared to have a prostate procedure and didn't tell then President Biden? It was immediately investigated by the inspector general. And then Austin was then sanctioned for his behavior. It went a little something like increase the unnecessary risk to national security. That was from the inspector general. There is, or at least was, a process in place for moments like these. The inspectors general used to be independent of any administration, unfortunately no longer, but that's the purpose that they served. And here's another point. We don't need to, nor should we depend on cable news hosts or interviews of these same people on cable news to get to the truth. People can and do lie in interviews. I'm here to tell you. It is perfectly legal to lie to us in interviews, and they do. But it's a little more difficult to do under oath. At least it might, or at least used to, come with some degree of consequences. Because in the final analysis, either we actually care about national security or we don't. It's one or the other. but it sure as hell won't be both or when politically convenient. For KFI AM 640, I'm Mo Kelly.
KFI.
And KOST HD2.
Los Angeles, Orange County.
Live everywhere on the iHeart.